Number 31, worked on my sleep habits. Most people who take to their beds probably actually sleep a lot. I stopped sleeping more than a couple of hours at a time because I was avoiding my nightmares. I couldn't control them and felt like I was being attacked every time I went to sleep. I would take naps during the day and didn't dream when I napped, so I was safe. Working on my sleep habits and allowing the dreams/nightmares to come was not easy. As I was learning tools to manage my feelings and was surrounded by a good support system, I was finally able to feel like I could face this. I used to read on my phone until I dropped it on my face and knew it was time to go to sleep. That was my cue. When I woke up after a couple of hours, I'd think or create or read instead of trying to go back to sleep. I would often have dreams that would leave me upset and discombobulated all day. They made me feel squidgy. Whatever memory was trying to work its way out could freaking stay in, thank you very much. I didn't want any part of it. Working on sleeping more and facing that was not appealing at all, which is why I knew I had to. I started by going to sleep earlier. I tried to have the phone off by 11. I tried melatonin a couple times. Drugs don't work so well on me, so it pretty much still had me getting up, but now I was dizzy and walking into walls. I attempted to fall back to sleep rather than distract myself. It's not a quick fix, but it's getting better. Sometimes bravery is facing your nightmares. Episodes of Broken to Brave are released every Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you so much for listening and for joining me on this journey of healing and growth. If you want to go deeper into this story and hear it from a spouse's perspective, my husband and I have a Patreon-only show where we have an extended, behind-the-scenes discussion of every episode, which also posts twice a week. Here's a sample of our latest Patreon-only companion podcast. I don't know, but in this situation, I luckily had Colleen at this point, so she, that was helpful.
Yes.
And I was trying really hard to learn some new tools and do some other things to, she had me turn the light down on my phone to put it into night mode or whatever.
Right.
And do some other things, like, I'm trying to remember what they were, but like do some things that would
They were calming type things and things. There were conversations we had. We were supposed to talk about certain things at night. I can't remember.
Yeah, help me be lighter, like when I was going to sleep. So
just to calm you down.
I don't know. There were just things, and so it took me a while. But that was like the first day. Like this, doing it that night was like the first time in my whole life going, I am going to address this, and I'm going to just meet it head on, and I'm going to accept whatever comes when I close my eyes.
Turning off the phone and the lights at
that was
10 o'clock, because that's what we did. We turned it all off and went to sleep.
Yeah.
That was hard.
It was scary, and it was really scary for me to think I am relinquishing control to whatever my brain decides it wants to do. Right. And I was just like, okay, I just have to do this. And because I'm going to stay stuck and be sick if I don't heal.
Unfortunately, you didn't end up with a bunch of night terrors. That was something that I was afraid of at that time.
I didn't have night terrors, but the nightmares continued, and I just faced it. And I just kind of went, okay, so what does this mean? Then I remember the day we went in there and we're like, okay, so we were then analyzing it. She's like, could you please stop? And I'm like, what? And she's like, just stop. I'm like, stop what? Stop analyzing? Like, I didn't think you could do that. Like, I thought you're supposed to keep digging and looking. She's like, no, your body is trying to tell you that it can't handle the information right now.
And you're like, tell me the information. I want to dig into that information.
I just kept digging in deeper because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. Right. And she's like, no, we can heal around it. Like, there are ways for us to do it.
Yeah, if there's a repressed memory, it can just stay there. If we can heal around it, is what she was basically telling you.
Yeah, if you wanted to, you do not. And she said a lot of times we don't recommend finding it out, because it ends up being more damaging and more traumatizing. Right. And she said there are definitely ways to heal so that it doesn't
keep trying to surface.
Right.
But it feels like it's been surfaced.
Right.
And I think that's what happened that one night. And with the room on the first floor dream. And I was released for a little while.
So it felt like it was exposed and it was
and that
let
was
out.
all it needed, which is why the night terrors
kind
all
of like
stopped.
letting a little pressure off.
Yeah. Because sometimes things just want to be known.
Right.
But they don't need to be fully known. So it's like I could say, you know what, I have there's some memory that traumatized me when I was very young. And it may be, she also said it may be that it was when you're, 3 or however old, like sometimes someone just looking at you cross-eyed is very traumatic for like a
for a
so it
3-year-old,
could be that it wasn't something worse than the things I experienced when I was older, but just that it was scary and just that it was
right. So you as an adult are looking back going, it has to be more than somebody took my pen. But for a 3-year-old, it could have been somebody took your pen.
Chances are good.
Chances are good. It wasn't just somebody taking your pen.
But at the same time,
it could be for
a 3-year-old. It could be that somebody did. It could be any number of things.
Anything.
And so I just kind of let it go.
To hear the rest of this episode and get other exclusives, become a patron to Broken to Brave at patreon.com. You can also follow my blog at brokentobrave.com for even more insights and engaging content. Links are in the show notes. Broken to Brave is a production of Southgate Media Group, hosted and written by me, Martha Southgate. Thank you so much for listening. Now go do something brave.